All right, Shalom. I want to give all praise to Yahweh Bashim, Yahushua Bashim, Rakakadash, the Bonus, the Apostle Elders, the Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to you, sincere Akim out there, pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. Continue to do so. This is just the subject came back up. Of course, this has been a hot topic since they coined the term. You know, men of the Lord spotted it quick, but the black identity extremists. Now, this supposedly is the leaked document from the FBI. Could be forged, could be false, because a lot of people are very creative these days. They're able to match. And they're able to match official government documents. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. So we don't know the exact formatting that they particularly use, but I'm just going to assume that this is a real thing. It says, just a real quick summary, just to jump into it. The FBI assesses it is very likely. There's a lack of folly. The FBI assesses it is very likely to. It is very likely black identity extremists' perceptions of police brutality against African Americans spurred an increase in premeditated retaliatory lethal violence against law enforcement and will very likely serve as justification for such violence. The FBI assessed it is very likely this increase began following the August 9th, 2014 shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, and the subsequent grand jury, November 2014, declination to indict the police officers involved. The FBI assesses it is very likely incidents of alleged police abuse against African Americans since then have continued to feed the resurgence in ideologically motivated violent criminal activity within the black Israelite, Salakia, the black identity extremist movement, which, of course, as we've said over and over again, we're not black identity extremists. We're not black. We don't subscribe to any of this, because this is something that's actually being homegrown by Esau. They started off with the whole conscious movement, the whole more science, all of that shit. Esau has watched and allowed all of that stuff, and black consciousness kind of took off at a certain point. And Esau has kind of watered it. He, put out Black Panther and The First Purge, all these little movies where Jake is one to rally up. And these movies, they'll influence you to really do these things, but the scriptures talk about we're supposed to be spiritual men and endure in the end. So we don't subscribe to any of the views of black identity extremists, anything like that. And basically what this is talking about is they're them killing us finally coming to some sort of militance, some sort of, it doesn't say it, but some sort of consciousness, because you got a lot of Negroes who can they can jump in a rap video with guns. But Esau doesn't fear those guys because he knows and understands, local police enforcement, they're gonna get those guys, most likely. They're gonna be able to find them, the local police, detectives and all that stuff. And B, those guys are drugged up. They're not spiritual soldiers, so to speak. I'll say it like that. They're not soldiers. Just like somebody who is conscious, those guys don't have any discipline. They're using drugs. They're not really a threat. I'll put it like that. The most they might do is a little shootout. Once they run out of bullets, they going away. Point blank, period. But for you to teach somebody, which that's what the scriptures do, for you to teach somebody how to live, how to think, how the enemy is going to think, how everybody is going to behave in certain situations, how to decipher situations using the wisdom of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to understand, when you're dealing with a friend, how to deal with an enemy, how to deal with the people of your own nation, all of that, that's something on a complete whole nother level, because now you're giving them a foundation. And once you give somebody a spiritual foundation, especially under the strong tower, right, that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, now you can't knock down a strong foundation like that. When the wind blows, that foundation is gonna stand, right? These other people who are into they might be into guns, or they might be into Kemet or whatever, foolishness. They're building a house on the sand. I'll put it like that. And when that storm comes, that house is gonna rock to and fro, and it's gonna fall over. Lord willing, the men of the Lord, what the scriptures talk about. Certain men are going to receive a mark, and that mark is going to be a mark of protection so that they're not destroyed. That's once again a spiritual thing. These are things that are out of the hands of men. Men can't control it. They can't manipulate it. This is all through the will and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And that's what scares Esau, us going back to our true power. And, I'm not going to read. This is online, by the way. You can just look up Black Identity Extremists.pdf. Google search it. The document will come up. You can download it. Take a look at it. It's just giving different accounts where, basically the police came and they shot people down. And all kind of starting with this Michael Brown situation. So basically, basically these people, they're starting to notice that people are starting to rally up. They're starting to get tired of this place. Hey, and they're doing what Esau does. He'll create a problem, he'll create a problem, there'll be a reaction, then he'll create a solution based on that problem. And that's what he's doing now. They created the thing, and now the people are reacting to the bullshit just like they knew they would. With Esau. I know here in St. Louis they have like a nationally accredited chess club, and it's a lot of Edomites into that. They're into that chess game, because with chess you have to think many moves ahead, many steps ahead. Now the beautiful thing about us as the Israelites, the chosen people, look, the steps are already written that we're supposed to do and that we've already been. Our moves have already been recorded, and the moves we're about to make. That's what prophecy is. Esau, he thinks he can outsmart the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, when the scriptures tell you what? Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. And just like that, he can have Esau believing that, look, I've come up with a foolproof plan. Nothing can stop my plan. Esau is like the bad guy in the movies. He wants to monologue and shit, tell you how good his plan is and how unstoppable it is. Hey, there's nothing that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai cannot do. Just to prove that real quick, just keeping it basic, keeping it quick, keeping it light. This is Daniel 4:20. And I'm starting verse 1. This is Nebuchadnezzar the king unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth. Peace be multiplied unto you. I thought it good to show the signs and wonders that the high God hath wrought toward me, how great are his signs and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at rest in my house, flourishing in my palace. I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed and the visions of my head troubled me. Therefore I made I a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. Then came in the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers, and I told the dream before them, but they did not make known unto me the interpretation thereof. And just to fast forward to today, that's what these Edomites are doing behind the scene. They're consulting everybody they can. They're consulting, they're trying to reach out into every branch. They want to reach out to the people in communication business, and television business. They want them to kind of read the people, gauge the people. Then they're reaching out to the top scientists. That's why they have these little, interview shows that they send their select people on for them to kind of give their 2 cents on what they think is about to happen. And then they'll go and they'll kind of reveal a couple of things, and just like Elon Musk, or his name sticks out. He's supposed to be a top scientist. He's on there smoking weed, talking shit about how AI is going to merge with technology and all of this crazy, or merge with people. Yeah, Esau has his top men right now. Donald Trump right now is scrambling. His people are dying. He's got an opioid epidemic. He got all these countries rising up against him. And that's what these Edomites do. They're doing everything they can to get out of the situation. They're praying to the Most High, the Bible. They're praying to, whatever God is going to answer their prayers, and they don't have the answer. So, but at the last, Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belteshazzar, according to the name of my God, and in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And before him I told the dream, saying, so he even knew that his gods were holy. And before him I told the dream, saying, O Belteshazzar, master of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in thee, and no secret troubleth thee. Tell me the visions of my dream that I have seen, and the interpretation thereof. And Trump even did that at his inauguration. He had people reading the Bible. But when the scriptures, as brothers always say, the scriptures are vast. There are many laws, many statutes, many commandments, a lot of history. And he'll sit there and try to read one chapter, which all presidents do that. But these men, they pride themselves in being Christian men, being believers of the Bible, being servants of God. When really, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is only dealing with his people. And even Nebuchadnezzar do that, but today that particular knowledge has been turned around. And I believe this is what Trump was reading. Salakia if I got it wrong, but from what I keep reading, it was Wisdom of Solomon 9. And okay, so yeah, it was 9 and 9, and wisdom was with thee, which knoweth thy works, and was present when thou madest the world, and knew what was acceptable in thy sight, and right in thy commandments. O send her out of thy holy heavens, and from the throne of thy glory, that being present she may labor with me, that I may know what is pleasing unto thee. So basically, he's saying, hey, I'm trying to move according to wisdom, but really he's not. Really they're not. Really deep under all of that, they're still trying to target the Israelites. All this warfare across the whole earth, all these different countries rising up, putting tariffs on America. You have the Israelites, who are the poorest people in this country, the lowest people in this country on the social order, and we're the focus of this man's attention until the end. And that goes to show you who Esau is. Hey, but with that being said, man, call Allah Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Hey, they can make a million pieces of law enforcement. They can do whatever undercover operations they want to do. At the end of the day, the will of the Father is going to be done until, you know, he puts a stop on it. You know, then no work is going to be done. But then at that point, the things are going to speed up, and then all the way to America's destruction. Hey, so with that, I want to say, call Allah Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kakadash. That want to see Apostle Elders Great Millstone. These people have targeted us. They went after us. But now is the time to be very smart and be very wise, because now they're really going to start coming with us. They just took down Alex Jones, right? Just to set an example. He was the sacrifice. He was the sacrifice. So now when they come after the men of the Lord, they can say, look, hey, we took down Alex Jones too. And that's how these Edomites operate. They'll sacrifice their own just to save the whole body. Call Allah Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kakadash, Shalom.